Hello, this is Dave at TitleSearch.com and AFX Title. Today we're going to talk about title searching and the need for title research in the areas of the Bakken oil fields and even along the XL Keystone pipeline area. A little bit of history. The Bakken oil fields is something that is an area in mostly in North Dakota. It extends a little bit into Montana, where there's newly created methods of obtaining petroleum products from the ground. It's either fracking, sometimes it's tar sands recovery, but it's ways of getting oil and gas from areas that there weren't methods to do this in the past. The discovery of these new methods has created kind of a boom area in this part of the country for oil production and requiring pipelines to get that oil out of there. Some of these pipelines are still in the proposal and discovery phase. The XL Keystone is one of those pipelines that's kind of been contended over the last couple years. In the meantime, there's been a lot of rail shipping of these oil products, and that rail shipping even itself has created a need for title searches. So how does that work? As these communities are being developed and they're putting in temporary man camps and all these new facilities, there's a voracious appetite for getting title searches done to get these projects in place, to put up buildings, to get right-of-ways in for equipment and maintenance on pipelines and equipment, even to put up things like cell towers to get more communications for the workers and even for the companies themselves to be able to communicate with headquarters. So title searchers have been called upon to do some of these complex searching. Used to be that the searches were for oil and mineral rights in the areas. Most of that's been done. Now it's a matter of getting title searches for development of the production facilities or even the pipelines to get the oil out of there. In the case of railroads, the fact that there's more rail traffic coming in and out of there, some of the railroads are needing to increase their resources, maybe bigger facilities, even access to the tracks to do more updating and maintenance because there's more rail traffic on the tracks themselves. The right-of-ways for the different pipelines are important. You know, the main XL Keystone pipeline is one story, but there's also, you know, smaller pipelines. They get the oil from the individual wells and from the pooling agreement areas into the main storage facility, and those all need right-of-way searches and title searches, which is another reason why there's a lot of demand for those services in that area. There's a separate section of the country a little bit farther south in Cushing, Oklahoma, that's also a hotbed of activity. Cushing, Oklahoma was originally designed as a storage facility for petroleum products coming out of the Gulf, coming from coastal areas up the Mississippi River, and to be stored at Cushing as crude oil or other products. In fact, Cushing was such an important storage facility, there was a price settlement point on the commodities exchange for Cushing oil. And that was a price point, just like Brent North Sea crude or Dubai Platte. Cushing, Oklahoma was a price settlement point for oil coming in. Coincidentally, now that a lot of oil is being produced in the Bakken area and even some of the other parts of the country, it's now a staging area for oil coming out of that region to be distributed elsewhere, even down into the Gulf to be offloaded or to be sent to the Gulf for refining and then sent elsewhere. To that end, there's also the Seaway pipeline that's going from Cushing to the Gulf. That also is going to require more title searching and more resources going to it. So there's a lot of activity with that reverse flow of petroleum products going from the center of the country to refining facilities along the Gulf. All this is creating a huge amount of activity all the way from North Dakota and from the Canadian border all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, right along the center of the country. There's even some more activity coming across the border from Canada. Canada's doing a lot more of tar sands recovery of petroleum, and there's one or two pipelines in process to get that oil and petroleum products across into the U.S. So this is the reason that title searches and title research services are being focused on that part of the country. If you're in that area, you may find that a lot of clients are looking for that search type in a lot higher volume than it used to be. So keep an eye on that Bakken oil area, what's going on with the XL Keystone pipeline, and developments that come from that might be worth looking at if you're a title search provider, especially if you have advanced credentials, maybe a certified title examiner credential from NALTIA. Possibly even if you do commercial searches. Those are the kind of searches that most of these clients will be looking for. They're not looking for run-of-the-mill residential searches. They want advanced, experienced providers that can do the more complex searching. If you need more information, you can visit naltia.org for credentials or the ability to pass the test. And if you think of somebody who would benefit from this video, click the share link below and pass it along to them.